Welcome. I have another fun show today. We'll answer questions about the rookie class. There's a lot. We're going to have a rookie mock as well. And I'll post a link to that in the YouTube chat. So we want people to join that. There you go. But yeah, how are you guys doing? We're going to talk rookies, the NFL draft. It was very exciting.
Oh, yeah. So much happened.
So for Philadelphia fans, especially, come on, man.
I streamed for 9 fucking hours. A Giants get an A plus. I don't know about that. You think the Giants deserve an A plus?
I don't think an A plus.
All I can think about is Philadelphia, to be honest. Like how they just
Philadelphia had the best draft.
It's pretty wild.
Philadelphia crushed the draft.
Go Philly.
They got an A plus. If anyone else got an A plus, they got an extra plus in there for sure.
Oh yeah,
I could see
Philly
that.
crushed it.
Let's see. Well, I'm gonna look into that. I there has been demand. I will say there's been demand. I looked into it. Over 200 people said they would be interested. I was very surprised. It was a big thing. I was very surprised at the interest. But you never know. We'll have to see. You got to be careful what you wish for, right?
Indeed.
We had some
you guys
very
in any
interesting
drafts right now.
You have seen me be doing the draft. It's been it's been taking a long time. Patrick, we decided that your computer was broken forever.
I thought it was.
Yeah, that's why we started. I was worried it was broken. Get it started and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, so I tried to adjust the angle to try and center the jerseys in the background, only to realize my desk was up against the power cord and the couch, and it ripped it right out of the back.
Ooh.
Patrick, I have an important question for you.
This computer is older than Hutch.
Well, that's probably true. But when is your OnlyFans going to launch? So that people want to know.
People don't want to know.
No, but they do. I actually had multiple questions about that this week. People were interested in hearing about it.
Hey, don't we have rookies to talk about? What's going on here?
Well, this is more important.
Rookie only fans. I will sit there and read off my own rookie rankings on OnlyFans.
Oh, that's spicy.
Hey, I mean, I'm not going to yuck anyone's
with my feet, and everyone can see my ingrown toe and all that fun stuff.
How wonderful! That sounds very interesting.
This conversation needs to quickly switch.
We're gonna move on.
I figure Twitter's not working out for me right now, so might as well.
With Mr. Musk, Mr. Musk in command, it hasn't been so good. God. Elmo. Oh wait, Elmo. I need my Elmo. I have it somewhere here. He talks too. You press a button and he says lots of Elmo phrases.
Dude, that's what was like in hot demand like 10, 15 years back, I think.
Well, I also have an Oscar. If you press the button, he says that he's very grouchy.
And
hey, Toronto Dave.
Speaking of Elmos that talk, Twitter really needs in the fantasy community a Magic 8 Ball. A Twitter Magic 8 Ball account where you just ask it questions and it gives you random Magic 8 Ball sayings.
Oh my God! Wait, I should become that.
Super smart.
Oh, that'd be so great.
You should somehow monetize that, man.
Everyone would love that.
It'd be fun.
Man. Make it happen.
I'll charge $10 per answer.
And then add some like snark, add some snark or sarcasm to the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can't believe you asked this.
Well, that sounds like something I would say.
Oh,
is there any
Of
consideration?
course, complete the trade, you dumb shit.
Is there any consideration to taking Gibbs over any of the quarterbacks in a 10-team Superflex? I think it's a good question.
It is a very good question.
That is a good question.
I would have Gibbs ranked below those players, but I am like Gibbs is good at I'm gonna move him up to my RB4 in my dynasty rankings.
He's already there for me.
I'm already there. Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, I'm already there.
Javonte level. Pre-injuries.
Javonte, oh my God.
Oh, Javonte has a new ranking, by the way. He's now sitting at RB22. He's doing very well. He's doing
Ooh,
very well.
Yeah.
I saw
22.
this.
that's brutal.
I saw Jesse's same
Yeah.
question earlier today, and I think there's an argument to be made, especially with 10 teams where there's the QB scarcity isn't nearly as big of a problem. I have no problem with
Well-
taking him over Stroud. If you have concerns about Stroud and you're sitting at 104 and you're like, I want what I feel like is more of a sure thing, absolutely go Gibbs.
I could totally see the argument. I still have Gibbs ranked behind those 3 quarterbacks. I'd take those quarterbacks, but I totally see it. If I see it done in a draft, I'm not flinching. It looks fine.
Yeah,
to me.
I'm such a quarterback junkie that like if there's a good quarterback in the first round of Super 10 or 12 man, I'll probably stick with the quarterbacks. But Gibbs is definitely intriguing. I mean, there's a lot of good things to be said for not only his capital, but obviously we've all seen him play. So it'll be interesting what he does.
Yeah, I would go with the quarterbacks, but it's a lot closer. It's not particularly close in a regular Superflex 12 team.
Yeah.
I came to hear the Texans hate. You probably won't because we don't really talk about like this is a fantasy show. We don't really talk about. I got a lot of questions in my thread today about like grade the Texans draft, grade Washington's draft. I gave the Texans a D. I gave them a D. A D. That's what I gave them. I thought they were very mediocre, below par. Below par. So I don't know. They traded away a top 5 pick potentially in next year's draft to get an edge rusher. I don't care. I mean, that edge rusher better be, the next coming of Lawrence Taylor. He better be that good. I don't know if Will Anderson is that good. So I gave them a D just for that.
Not to mention the Jalen Carter, what could have been Jalen Carter in the initial pick.
Well, no, Jalen Carter was gone at that point.
Was he?
Yeah. But I also dislike their selection of Tank Dell. A big mistake, in my opinion. Josh Downs was still available at that time, who I much would have rather preferred, along with Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman, who are far better prospects. So I give that great pick an F. The pick of Tank Dell gets an F from me. So, yeah, their overall draft got a D. I wasn't impressed at all. I don't know why people were such a big fan, because I was not. Waddle and Everett. Gerald Everett. Who cares about Gerald Everett? Or
Garrett Wilson, probably, right?
Yeah,
Garrett
Garrett Wilson, 24th third. We need to fill the mock. Yeah, Garrett Wilson. Well, I think I'd take Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson and Waddle are basically the same to me, so I'd much rather have a 24th third over Everett. I'll take Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with Wilson here too, 100%. I love Jalen Waddle still, but I think there is a lot of hype with Aaron Rodgers coming to town. But I think he's going to make good on it and make Wilson look even better than obviously when he was with some mediocre quarterbacks throwing to him and still producing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Garrett Wilson does. I have him in a few spots.
I like the idea of having the one on the team and Garrett Wilson over the 1B, 1A of Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. We're having a lot of tech issues today.
I mean, it sounds like Josh is on an old school Skype call from like 2008.
It does, yeah. Your computer didn't work. And
going well?
Patrick's computer didn't work, and now Hutch's computer froze, and he's gone. So
Wait, do I sound bad right now? Like my audio?
You sound fully understandable.
Yeah.
It just sounds like an old school Skype call.
You sound like you're swimming in a pool.
Yeah, you know what it is?
Without the bubbles.
I was telling Tyler, my computer is not with me right now, so I'm using my wife's, and hers is a little bit older than mine. So that's probably what it is. Hopefully you can understand me, though.
Yeah,
So
I think we're doing great. We're doing great.
Yeah, I can't believe we lost touch now. That's funny.
I know. Superflex PPR, 6 points for passing touchdown. How do you rank rookie quarterbacks?
Young, Stroud,
Young.
AR.
Yeah.
Richardson, Young, Stroud. For
You
me,
still have Richardson above?
I
No.
still have Richardson above.
I think that it kind of cancels out his upside a little bit with potential rushing touchdowns. So I'm going with the passers, and we don't really know what Richardson can even do yet at the NFL level with the throws. So yeah, I definitely go with the other two. I think I'm still kind of wrestling with that a little bit, where a lot of people have just automatically put AR at 2 already, like in any kind of super flex setting, whether it's 4-point or 6-point. But I understand the hype, and he's this like athletic freak, and he's got footage of him throwing very good throws, right? And making use of his legs, mobility, finding spots to throw the ball into, small windows. But I just don't think we've seen him do anything consistently enough, especially in a 6-point passing touchdown league, to throw him ahead of the other two guys.
I feel like people have just forgotten that there's any risk with Anthony Richardson at all.
Exactly. Yeah,
Like,
bust potential.
I don't. I heard someone say they would take him in a first round of a startup. That's insane.
Like 101?
First round. So top 10,
okay, first
top
round.
12
Okay.
pick in a startup. I think that's absolutely
like-
insane.
Yeah.
Just above CD, I'm guessing.
I mean,
Guessing
didn't we
CD would be the
learn this
first-
lesson? Like, didn't we learn this lesson with Trey Lance? They're not the same
Should've.
player. They're not the same player. They're completely different. But a lot of it is the same. You're talking about someone who's raw, who was drafted 3rd and 4th overall. A lot of it's the same. Someone who's risky, but people just decided that there was no risk and drafted them as if there was no risk.
Yeah, I don't know when it happened,
Did-
but I mean, it was after
don't
the
either.
draft, but like everyone just straight up said, okay, well, AR is clearly the QB1 of the draft class now, but I still think Young is. But it definitely is intriguing to kind of consider, right? Like, if you have 2 picks in the, from 102 to 104, then I might consider taking AR with the 102, just so I kind of like have one that's exciting, and then if I'm at 104, just go with the other quarterback, one of the other two. But there's still so much more safety in Stroud and Young for sure.
Well, I think back to Trevor Lawrence and his coming out. He was going roughly anywhere from 110 to 22 in startup drafts, following his draft to the Jaguars. And then going into this time last year, he was sitting at QB 20. He had dropped so far down, and we could see that big of a jump for someone like Anthony Richardson, Young, or Stroud, where they built up who they are and who they're going to be, and then the fantasy community the floor just drops out because they think that they bust the first year, and then suddenly we had to overcorrect back to where he's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, but Lawrence was a different type of prospect, obviously, than Richardson. He was like a generational prospect as just a passer and as an actual QB. So for him to fall as far as he did, I think that's just kind of a knock on kind of the reactional nature of the fantasy community, because I don't think he should have ever dropped down, as far as he did. Right. By the way, does that sound better?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, awesome.
Houston wants the Houston Dogs? Oh, Tank Dell went to Houston. I think that's what he's saying.
Yep.
Well, yeah. An A? No, I give them a D. And just because there's been so much hate, I'm going to change it to an F. I'm changing it to an F. How about that? How about that? Why not change it to an F? Why not? Fuck it. 3 offers. Where are the 3 offers? I don't see that. You might want to
Take
include
offer number 3. Take offer number 3.
Yeah, offer number 3. I can't help you without the offers. Underwater. Oh, sorry, bro. All right, so I had a few things on the show sheet. Let's build that draft. I want to kind of do that first, or when it's full. I would like to. Hopefully Hutch will come back. But if Hutch is back, we fill the draft. I would love to do that. All right, let's look at this. So 3 offers: Godwin in 110, Scary Terry in 203, and London in 203 for Wandale and 206 or 106. So we can eliminate the second one. That one is
Yes.
ridiculous.
Yep.
I don't understand that. But what about the other two?
I think value-wise, Godwin 110 is definitely doable. I mean, Godwin is a little bit older, but he's still definitely in his prime. He's got a lot of career ahead of him. And that 110, you can still probably land maybe a need-based pick, whether wide
I
receiver,
mean, I think
running
the
back, tight end.
Kincaid, Flowers.
Or even Levis if you're really QB thirsty. Like, I don't really like Levis in the first, and I would not really touch him. But if someone needs to take a shot, like, it's not like his draft capital was deep in the second round, right? I mean, he was pretty much right after the first ended. So, yeah, I think in the late first round, going Levis if you're like just totally in need at QB is good too. So, like, a quarterback that could start plus Godwin for JSN is not bad in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, I would just take the London offer. I'd rather have
Yep.
London over JSN. I'd rather have the 203 over Wandale. So that one is pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Made a bad bet on running backs getting good capital and landing spots and acquired 203, 205, 206, and 207. Now I hate those picks. Who do you like in that range or trade out? Honestly, I don't hate that range. But
Yeah.
I don't know how many running backs they're going to be in that range.
It's still a dart throw too.
I feel like the run on running backs that we saw in most of our mocks in the second round got really spread out.
I've been a part of some not mocks, like actual drafts where, I mean, some people who just want to go for it, and like they don't really go with consensus.
Mhm.
Like, I've seen like Spears go in the late first, like there's a lot of interesting things depending on your league. So I think, like, when we're on Twitter so much, like we kind of have a consensus, a general feel, but some of these leagues that, a lot of us are in, it's crazy. Like, someone was showing me, like, from the Kenny Pickett year, right? Like, Kenny Pickett going 1.02 in a
Mhm.
Superflex draft. I'm just like, how? Why?
That's
right?
insane.
Like, it's
Yeah, I don't-
but so for us, it would be insane. But, to a lot of, I think, just, home league and maybe not quite as quote unquote hardcore, there's a lot of ways that even consensus can be a big help, right? In terms of, getting value and things like that.
Guys that I've seen dropping in that range that I really like: Josh Downs, Kendra Miller.
Yeah, he's fun. Yeah.
If you're looking
Marvin
at the end of
Mims.
that range, Marvin Mims, Rasheed Rice. If you're into the big body, super physical, athletic freaks, Mingo.
Yeah. Oh, well, Mingo's actually starting to creep up, man. Like, I've seen him go late first in some just because of his capital
Really?
on the team. Yeah.
Ooh.
But that's
wow.
such a high risk move. Just I mean, I drafted him pre NFL draft in like the 4th round of a 14-team league. So seeing the jump, I mean, draft capital is obviously a big deal, but that was pretty wild to see him starting to go in the late first and even early second. But it makes sense, I guess, if people are looking for people who might contribute right away.
I'm not feeling that with Mingo. I guess I'm not going to have any.
Yeah, the value has just gone too crazy, too wild.
I feel like the Mingo fans need a dance that they do every time they talk about Mingo, like a.
Is that the Mingo dance?
I don't know. It's going to. Should it be like?
I don't know, man. You got to throw a little more sass in there, I think.
You see it. My chair's creaking and it's old, like myself. And if I go any farther, and you see I'm a little bit overweight. Like you can see it up here in the chesticles. But if I go any farther left to right, I might break the chair, and at that point, I might have to go to the hospital, which I can't draft from the hospital, which means we need to find one more person for the rookie
you
mock
definitely
draft.
could still draft, man. Come on, where's the commitment?
Speaking of, we need 2 more people for the rookie mock draft.
Yeah, and we also. Oh, you're back.
we go.
Oh, he's
what
back.
happened?
My computer froze. So my computer froze, and you all became like spinning circles, black circles on my screen. And then I tried to send a private chat, wouldn't let me send anything. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave and come back. And then when I tried to come back, Twitter shut down and froze on me on my computer. So then I logged out of so I shut down my computer, and it took forever to get back in. and then I finally got back in, and now I'm here again.
So
It
it
was
took
not
a
fun.
long time.
Yes, long time.
Technology sucks.
Wouldn't-
Yes,
All right.
it does. It does suck.
Okay.
Mingo, 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 mingo,
What did I
miss?
mingo, mingo, mingo.
Patrick's trying to come up with a jingle for Mingo fans.
Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah.
I would
This
take
is Mingo was his name out. M-I-N-G-O, M-I-N-G-O, M-I-N-G-O.
Oh.
Mingo was his name out. That's so easy.
Send him back down to the waiting room.
It's
Be arranged.
it's sitting right there. Come on. It's so easy. It rhymes with bingo.
My team is bad.
You're
and I
being a
deserve
real
one
flamingo
point.
over there.
Uh oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of puns to start tweeting out. Once the season starts getting closer.
I'm probably just gonna tweet. Oh, good lord. I'm gonna put on
I would take not Gibbs.
Oh, why would you take Gibbs? at
Don't
102?
take Gibbs.
I would take
Absolutely
Young.
not.
Yeah.
I'm actually on the Stroud train for
I
102.
would say AR Young there.
Young is actually look, it's really like, honestly, when I go in my Dynasty rankings, I've been moving them around so much, those three. They're back to back to back on my overall rankings, back to back to back on my quarterback rankings, back to back to back on my rookie rankings. I've
QB
moved them
carousel.
around so much. They're all a three-way tie to me. Like, I just can't.
I'm nervous here because of the contract.
Yeah,
If
5
you can only
years.
keep for 5 years, that's the perfect length for a running back. I know
Yeah,
most
but
of
you
us
need a
played
QB.
Dynasty in supposedly 3-year windows, but it does add an extra layer. I can see why it's a question.
Fill the last
No.
team
Yeah,
in the
I'd want-
mock. Come on, guys.
I'd want
Here's
I
the
mean,
mock link.
I would want Stroud, honestly. Like, honestly, Young is actually right now, he's my quarterback 3, because the thing is that I have the 3. Stroud is the one who really doesn't. He's the one who really doesn't run the football. CJ Stroud can run the football.
Dude, Young can run too.
Oh, the mock
But
is
he
fun.
just
Also,
I don't think I don't
Stroud-
think he's gonna do it. I think
Stroud
Stroud's
lost a
got-
Stroud
lot of
looks-
value.
Stroud looks ugly running the ball.
Stroud lost some
watching him
value
against
for me
Michigan
when
was
Houston
ugly.
declined to add any good weapons for him, and traded away their first round pick next year, so they can't add a weapon.
I still can't believe they traded their own first.
That's so stupid.
That
What
made
if-
that trade
wait.
so bad.
What if they
it was
trade
dumb.
a second-round pick to the Arizona Cardinals?
I mean, they
get
also
DeAndre
have the
Hopkins?
free agency class.
That would be
2024. What's
hilarious.
that looking like? What's the free agent class 2024 looking like? You probably got some wide
Not
receivers
good.
signed there.
It's never
see.
good.
A lot are signing longer extensions already.
Jordan Love plus X equals 109 plus nothing. I feel like Jordan Love
Yeah.
is worth more than 109 with how the draft
Yep.
came down.
And with his
Really?
extension,
Well, it's only
With
a
how
1
the
year,
draft
right?
came
It's a
down,
1 year-
yeah.
it's a- you're- so he's got 2 years.
extension. The 1 year extension.
got 2 years.
Oh,
really
it's an extension on this year. Okay.
so instead of the 5th-year option they had to decide on by today, they gave
Yeah.
him this, which
Through 2024, right?
through 2024.
Yeah.
Instead of 22 million being guaranteed to him, 13 million is guaranteed to him, and then
Yeah.
the rest is based in incentives.
I mean,
So
you
if
you gotta take a chance on Love. You just
Huh, that's funny.
All I know is you can't buy me love.
100%. I
Maybe
mean,
you
but
can
you
on the
can.
OnlyFans, though.
I knew it was
Hey.
coming. I knew it was coming. I was just waiting for it.
But what's love got to
That's
do
not
with it?
love, man. Okay, it's not love.
That's
All right,
not
love is commitment.
love.
All right.
If that's not love, I don't know what love is.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
If
you
love
got-
is wrong, I don't want to be right.
huh, that's funny.
Oh my goodness gracious!
All right, let's see if this works. Usually Ryan does this.
Ladies
The
and
mock
gentlemen,
draft?
start your drafts.
Oh. All right, we're figuring it out. Progress is
1
being
minute
made.
picks.
Okay, let's.
Hold on. Yeah, let's get the mock draft up.
But
I
we
gotta
know
pull it
Hutch
on
is
my
going
phone.
AR there, so it's already he
No.
already scripted it out.
All right.
Oh wait, this is Superflex.
Yes.
Oh,
And
dang it.
tight end premium.
And
Is it
premium.
one
Oh,
PPR?
don't get Cade 102.
0.75.
Shoot,
Okay.
I saw the rankings list when I originally joined, and I thought it was gonna be a 102, which is why I wanted one. I thought it was gonna be one QB, which is why I decided to go.
Well, it's
102.
not.
Because I wanted Jahmyr Gibbs.
Wow.
I wanted
Too
just to
bad.
rant about Jahmyr Gibbs and
Reach
how
for
awesome
it.
he
Too
is.
bad.
No, I can't.
You should just take him
All right.
anyway right now.
Yeah, I'll take Jahmyr Gibbs. No, I won't take Jahmyr Gibbs 102. That's not the pick. Right now, currently, he's my quarterback on ranked because I think he's going to be able to unlock his rushing potential in Houston. He did a lot in high school, not as much in college, but I think he's going to be able to unlock in Houston, be a really good fantasy quarterback. The Houston Texans defense also, while adding some additions this offseason, still is probably going to be bad. They're probably going to have to throw a bunch, probably going to be behind. I'm going to take CJ Stroud 101. I think his accuracy is just unbelievable. I think he's going to develop into a really, really good NFL player. I mean, I believe someone, all three of these quarterbacks. Like
I don't think I've seen
there are three-way
Stroud
tight
go
end.
I've
one.
never seen Stroud go up that early.
Yeah,
Really?
or-
I've seen him go 101 in a rookie draft. Like over Bijan.
That I definitely
That
have not
is so
seen.
bad.
Let me tell
That's
you.
something I don't support at all. I mean, I've said this on this show. I've said it on the other on my
Oh, we
podcast.
heard you
all the
say
time.
it. We heard you.
Yeah. I won't
But
rant
yeah,
about it again. I've
Hey,
said it too many
Hutch,
times.
come on, man. Is this one of those hot takes to try to get more people talking?
Ooh, scandalous accusation.
What?
Come on, man.
What'd
You're
you
just
say?
trying to get the engagement
I
here,
don't think
aren't you?
Hutch does
Oh
that.
my god! I don't.
I mean, that's what toilet paper tweets are about.
Oh my goodness! What a reference! Oh man. That was
I
so
actually read a
bad.
stat that men prefer the toilet paper to come out over, and the women actually prefer it to come out from under. So
Nobody prefers it to. No, people prefer it to come out from under.
Yeah, who prefers
I
that?
think
Who would want that?
I read that women generally do, but
Where'd
who
you read
knows?
that?
In a statistic book. I like to do that for fun.
They have statistics books,
Yeah,
like a
you
textbook.
never heard of it? Statistics for Dummies.
I get why you have that book, Josh.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Whoa.
So that I can
One of my
share it with
friends-
guys like
one of my
you,
friends
I can
was
share it with
texting
guys
me-
like you.
One of my friends just texted me false as a woman. That's false. They're watching right now. Yeah, that's stupid. You can't do that.
Josh, do you
The
remember
under is just so much worse.
Do you remember the episode of the league where they realized Kevin had a bunch of all the for dummy books?
You know
And then-
what? I have not seen the
Oh,
league.
someone timed out already. JSN.
Fine.
I
They
just
timed
know that
out with
there's a
JSN.
trophy. That
Yeah,
they
JSN
call
is the
some
pick
trophy.
there.
Yeah.
JSN is the pick here, and this is where I think the first real question of the draft comes.
Well,
which is why I
between
put myself
JSN
in
and
this
Gibbs,
position.
and then this question.
No, there's
Which
no
order
question
the
between JSN and
quarterbacks go
Gibbs.
in.
There's no question between JSN and Gibbs. It's
Not to
Gibbs.
me.
There's no question to me. It's not.
I'm
I think
thinking through.
I think in my overall dynasty ranks, I think I have Jahmyr Gibbs closer to Bijan than to JSN.
Wow.
I think in my overall ranks, Gibbs is closer to Bijan than JSN.
They're equidistant. To me.
for me, this is a
I'm- I'll have to-
3-person.
I'd
This
have to
is
do math. I'd
this
have
is a
to check.
3-person pick.
I think it's
Between Quentin Johnston, Dalton
Yes.
Kincaid, and my favorite choice of the three, Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm
I don't
a
think
As
many
good as
Johnson
people
guy.
have Kincaid in with those two,
in a tight end premium.
even in a tight
It
end.
makes it
pick.
more interesting, but probably not still.
Not with those
I would
two.
not.
I think those two have a lot more upside.
Favor
Maybe
in
if it
their
were start
rights.
two tight ends.
And
Man,
And
I
right
can't
now,
wait for my next guy.
I also
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Quentin Johnston.
Ooh, flowers.
I don't think he's
Ooh.
great at football. I think he's
I agree with
good.
you. Honestly, I think he's a
Dude,
great athlete
yo.
and perfect at football. I agree with you.
Patrick
Like,
I
and
don't wanna
Hutch
see him
helping
over-
each other out here with the anti-QJ propaganda.
he
Yo,
just
you
like
guys-
he is. He just doesn't play smart football. He doesn't at all. His mechanics are all off. Everything about his
Oh,
mechanics are off. Everything.
Dude, stop.
He needs
okay,
so
so
much
he,
work.
he catches it with his body a little bit, okay, but there's things. that
No,
he can
there's
easily
so much
improve.
more. There's so much more. His route tree is so bland and boring. He's not an advanced route tree. He never
That's what
high points the ball
is
well.
for, man.
He
You
high
go
points
and
the
you learn.
ball poorly. He high points the
He's
ball very poorly.
Huh.
He
Michael
struggles with
Meyer went
separation.
before Kincaid.
Yeah,
don't
no,
like
that's
that.
not okay.
I've
Don't
seen
hate
that
on those
happen.
things.
Like people are stuck
don't
on
hate Kincaid's
the
one.
pre NFL like draft. Kind of like a lot of people were touting him as the top, tight end. But for fantasy purposes, like Kincaid, they're not going to ask him to block. So that's the kind of tight end I want. The one that's basically a receiver. So it's
Yep,
easily
exactly.
Kincaid.
Oh yeah, now I get to talk about. Let's go, Kendrick Miller.
I thought
Oh,
about taking
it's
Kendrick
such a
Miller just to
steal.
make you mad.
Oh, that would have been so mean. Kendrick Miller,
what
I
do
don't
you-
understand. I genuinely don't
He would've-
understand why he's not a first round pick in Dynasty.
He would have felt
It
validated
genuinely
though,
confuses me.
Tyler.
I know
If
that's
you had
why I
taken-
didn't do it.
If you're
It gen-
taking
it, like, Why is he not a first-round pick in Dynasty drafts, and why is he not the RB3 off the board? It genuinely confuses me. Why?
I mean, he's my RB5, so
I don't get it. A-Chain is like 185-pound running back who plays like he's 180 pounds. Like, he's not going to be able to get that big role in the NFL. Like, and
A-Chain's gonna get relegated to special teams. I don't like it.
I agree.
I wrote about it today, but it was about how much
he's an excellent returner in college too. He returned the ball very well.
I am really scared. I want nothing of A-Chain at his price.
I'm not scared.
I agree. I'm scared of him. And then Charbonnet got brought back Walker in the Seattle offense.
A-Chain being stuck in special teams. They brought back their full running back from last year.
Once Alvin Kamara's out of the way in New Orleans, there's nothing stopping Kendrick Miller from being the 3-down back in this offense. There's nothing stopping him. There's nothing. There's nothing stopping him. He's a 215-pound running back. He can take the workload. He looks great as a receiver when you watch him play. He didn't get much opportunity at TCU, but when you watch him, he can catch the ball well. He is set up for a great role in the Saints offense with a solid quarterback in Derek Carr who cannot run. He's going to be dumping off the football. Like, Kendrick Miller is set up to be a great fantasy running back. I seriously don't get why he's drafted in the second round. He should be a first round pick.
Would you put him above a Kane?
Yes, 100%. He's my RB3. It's not. It's
like 100%. Like not even.
To me, it's not close. But I would rather have A-Chain by a lot.
To me, it's not even.
Oh, is it A-Chain?
That's what I've always heard. Yeah.
Yeah, it's A-Chain.
Okay.
I just want to note that while I hate Will Levis, Will Levis should go before 208.
I didn't even realize he was still on the board.
Yeah, you know what?
I was so focused on wide receivers.
The ADP is set up as a 1 QB league, so he was probably way down somewhere.
I don't.
But yeah, I would have taken Levis where I was. I mean, at 204, that's a big steal. So this is probably not.
I have him at 203 in this format.
Yeah.
Where do I?
But no, I like how the third pick and Hale, they got the young duo, the young stack, Young and Mingo.
Jonathan Mingo, I think, is going to be I'm totally out.
Yeah, it's too high.
I agree.
Value. Too risky.
I don't like the prospect at all.
Yeah, he seems like he could be. He seems like a really, like, when you watch him play, he seems like a really good athlete. Like, his size, his speed is really interesting.
He's a beast.
He's a very good athlete, but he's like, his production was just never there, and it was very wide open for him. It just was never there.
For me, it's not that I don't believe in him. It's just that taking him at this value is
that cost is too much. Yeah,
exactly. The cost is too much because he showed a lot of improvement every year. I mean, so the last season, I think he had like 800 yards. Like it slowly went up, but I mean, we'll see what happens, right? He could hit, but I think again the cost is probably too great there.
Yeah, it definitely is for that cost. It's definitely way too high. Like, even though the problem is though, I don't like many of the other receivers in this class. Like in the second round, all those guys I'm looking at, I'm like, I'll probably pass. Like, that's the problem. Like, I don't love many of the receivers in this class in the second round. There's some interesting names, absolutely, but in the second round, when I'm looking at those names all in the second round right now, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm just kind of like, I'm not really like thrilled with any of them.
So if you follow Draft Capital, I mean,
I'll take ETN over Addison.
Oh yeah, I'll still take ETN. Man, this is.
You're not scared of Bigsby?
I mean,
I'm a little
somewhat, but I'm not as scared as I am for Walker.
Hey Hutch, you're on the clock, just so you know.
I know I am. I'm struggling a little bit. I'm actually.
You know what's really
I was talking about receivers I don't like. It's a third round. I think Jaden Reed might actually be worth a shot here for the number 2 Green Bay wide receiver spot. I mean, I think that's definitely in his potential outcomes there.
Hey, what do you guys think? I mean, like, so Etienne, like, when he came into the league, everyone was going to say, like, that he was he's going to catch a lot of passes, and we know that didn't necessarily
Chase
happen.
Brown's also an excellent pick. I love that. I love that one.
Oh, yeah.
If Joe Mixon goes, Chase Brown is, like, set up to be the guy.
Mixon's not going anywhere, man. Mixon's going to stay easily top 12 running back this upcoming season. I'm shocked at how many people are just out on him. You know, like he's going to stay. He's going to produce very well in that offense.
Yeah, I'm one of them as well. Where does he rank for you, Tyler, among running backs? Because he's like in the 30s.
I mean, you're talking about Dynasty, right? But I'm talking about in redraft. He's going to be a top 12 running back.
34.
He's my 35.
I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
Again, redraft. you're gonna be interested.
I don't think I'm gonna have him top 12 though.
I won't either.
Well, boo-hoo to you two.
Yeah.
He looked good last year. He looked bad.
Okay, so that auto
Bad,
pick
bad.
of Darnell Washington,
Yeah, no.
Darnell Washington is barely draftable.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting is I still do think people are just enamored with his physicality, but I think he
He'll
even
go
called
early
himself
enough that I'll never have him.
yeah, he even called
Yeah.
himself a tackle. So I mean, there
Yeah.
it is, right?
Yeah, Washington. Yeah, Washington.
Hey, even Panay Sewell can catch passes though.
As
Hey,
sad as
Fryer-
it makes me, as
Freiermuth,
sad as it
though.
makes me to say, Darnell Washington is not going to be fantasy relevant in Pittsburgh.
He could be in like 3 years if something happens with Freiermuth. And they don't have him anymore,
Huh.
and they still
Yeah.
keep him around.
I don't know if I can wait 3 years.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I don't want to wait.
Hendon Hooker,
Yeah.
late third is great value.
Yeah,
I think that is
I'm
good
pretty
value,
out on Hendon
actually.
Hooker, but that price is fine.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
have
that's
him,
fine.
those are
I
the
have him
last
rated
two
at
quarterbacks.
305 in this format. So
Last two quarterbacks that I would
traded
take.
Swift, Woods, and Mostert for 110 and Juwan Johnson.
I
That's
would have
fine.
kept those
I'll
guys.
probably take 110 and Johnson.
I would have kept the
I
guys.
mean, Woods and
I'd-
Mostert are irrelevant.
I'd rather.
And so is
No,
Juwan,
whatever,
basically.
whatever.
Juwan's mostly irrelevant.
I'll take the package and go and try and flip Swift to someone who's enamored with him still to this
You're
day.
welcome.
That's great. Yeah, because I recently tweeted like I was worried about DeAndre Swift in fantasy. I had a little bit of exclamation and like I had many comments and DMs of people saying like you're wrong and you're crazy. Swift is going to dominate in Philly. I'm like,
Swift
not
has,
supposed to be that way at all.
has a
Okay.
cult following.
So
he
Roshan
is a cult
Johnson.
following him. The Swift users are crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of things. Chase Brown, the value of the third, maybe. And then Roshan late second as a value. I will say that to me,
I like that.
Roshan Johnson is the trap of this year's draft. I'm like, yeah, he's overvalued. Running backs who go in the fourth round are often overvalued, and he's the next in that line for me.
Yeah,
Of
I think
just-
people. I mean, as a Bears fan, obviously, like I think people underestimate the value of Deontay Foreman as kind of the bruiser there. I think Herbert did a good
Wow,
enough job where
people-
he's going to still get touches, but people are like forgetting that Deontay Foreman is there, that we picked him up, and he's going to be a big part of the offense, I think.
People did pretty good in drafting because I didn't really see any values at my pick.
You know, I haven't seen anything ridiculous
Like, at all.
so far.
Like,
That's 'cause
Eric
there are no
Gray
values
was-
out here.
Just
Eric
the
Gray was
quarterbacks
my
have been the
35th
big
was my
helmets.
35th rated player, and I picked him 37th. So I guess that's a slight value, but there wasn't like
you win.
yeah, but there wasn't like a screaming value on it. And
Oh,
then appreciate you guys, Superflex, Ridley and 107 or Diggs.
I think this might be a little early.
Ridley.
I take
Ridley
Ridley and
107.
107.
Yep.
Yeah, really want to say.
That Jacksonville offense is just, clicking
Wow,
on
this
all
is good.
cylinders.
I think
Add
it's
in
a little
Ridley's and
early
then
for
the
this guy. I'm going to
107.
take a shot at Dwayne McBride with Dalvin Cook potentially being a
McBride.
cut, still being a trade or cut candidate, and even potentially even next year be a trade cut candidate. I think there might be some upside for Dwayne McBride. So I think it's a little bit early, but I think
Yeah.
he's worth a fourth rounder.
If my guy's there at 404, I mean, it's not a sexy pick, but I think it's someone, especially in this format, that could definitely walk into. Oh, and he just took it.
Shoo!
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
I
obviously, it's not anything
Oh
super
wow.
exciting.
I totally forgot he was even there.
Yeah, not super
He
exciting, but
must
I
have been
think
far down the ADP.
he should be in the third round-ish, late third round-ish, I think, just because of the situation he's into.
Yeah, it is a
because
great offense. He
even with
walks into
Kevin,
that
he's the
needs
top
tight end.
guy. Yeah, he's the top guy there. Oh shoot, it's my pick.
It is
I
your pick.
will go with a guy that I liked a lot more before his draft.
I acquired
So
Swift
I just
between the
will call
Gibbs
here.
pick and his trade.
You motherfucker.
So he traded 109 for 111 in Swift. That I like.
I like.
I had my plan, and Josh.
I gotta
kinda
think
just
about.
Oh, you
destroyed
wanted
it.
Hull?
I wanted Hull.
Oh, he was one of the players on my list.
Yeah.
for potentially.
I
the
like
ninth
them.
round.
I liked him and Mingo as two sleepers, but Mingo is no longer a
Dorian
sleeper. Hull
Thompson
still is.
Robinson. I will
Mm.
say, I would not bother picking him.
No.
So
Any quarterback outside of Hendon Hooker, Will Levis in the top 3
Yeah.
are not worth drafting.
So
to
this
me.
player got picked 2.9 in one of my leagues.
2.9.
2.9. Jaron Hall.
Why?
Yep. Everyone.
I'm not sure I'd pick him.
Me neither.
I don't
He
think
shouldn't have been.
gets
Maybe in the
drafted.
5th, but
Yeah,
Ooh,
if you have like a 5th or 6th
the
round.
fall of Sean
Exactly.
Tucker.
I had to laugh at it. But
You guys, hey, how do you guys feel about Sean Tucker right now? Because I was scrolling down the
Fine.
list of ADP and I just found him.
Yeah.
fine. I mean, I don't
his
know if I would
medicals.
draft him.
I don't want to draft him. Like at all.
UDFA hit rate. Xavier Hutchinson is a good pick.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
still
Xavier
a few
Hutchinson is
guys
interesting.
that are just like upside swings on here.
I actually kind of am interested in Braxton, not Braxton, Brenton Strange. Jacksonville
Brendan
then
Strange.
with Evan
Huh,
Ingram,
that's
with Evan Ingram potentially
strange.
only having 1 year left in Jacksonville, like you do have a
Well,
potential there for him to
they
be
are
converted to
working
the team
right
later.
now on an extension with him. So he's on the tag, but they're working to extend him right now. So we'll see what happens. Because he's
Okay.
just perfect for that offense.
He is. He really, really is. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Parker Washington.
I like
And
those two as
Hutchinson
like
shares a name with Xavier.
statues. Washington. I feel like Washington and Hutchinson have been like back to back like all draft season.
Yeah, they've always been right next to each other.
And then they were like pretty much back to back in the draft, but they've been like back to back on my spreadsheet forever. It's just funny how that's kind of. Oh, there's Sean Tucker. I think that's fine. A little earlier than I would have gone. There are some players that were actually drafted that I would prefer.
Agreed.
And it is brutal.
Hey, what do you
Yeah.
guys think about Butte? Like, I still feel like he's a good later round pick right now because, obviously the talent was there, has been there, even in Devy leagues for a while. I mean, he was one of the top guys on the list, and he had some character issues and whatnot, and he's just dropped so
Yeah,
much.
Butte
but he
was
lands
supposed
in
to
New
be it.
England.
He was supposed to be the guy. Like he was
Yeah,
supposed to be like
exactly.
the next great thing.
So he's in New England now, and they don't really have too much competition down there. So I feel like it's actually a prime opportunity if he can just get his head on straight and get some good support and like good people around him to help him, like just as a
I
man.
don't know if New England's
in
the
his
greatest place for
character.
that though.
Yeah, I was saying.
New England's coaching staff is not nice. They like to yell at you.
I feel like it's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be difficult.
They're
to get your head on-
brutal. They are brutal
to
coaching
get
staff.
your head on straight.
I decided to go with the draft capital of Brendan Strange in the 5th round.
Hey, he needs
that's
some
not
Tony
awesome.
Dungy coaching. Some
Something like
good, mild mannered, good character. Teaching well, caring for the people.
Man, there's a sleeper I really kind of liked in the draft. He was hyper productive in college. He didn't get drafted, but he's still up in a situation where maybe there's pass catching available. I'm actually gonna take a shot at Keaton Mitchell. He was hyper productive in college. Like, dude was just off the charts productive. He only weighs in at like 185, so obviously there's a lot of concerns there. But he's a really, really good pass catcher. He proved that a lot in college. So hopefully he might be able to get some catches in an offense in Baltimore. But I'm willing to take that shot in the 5th round.
All right, so here I have a couple of options
because I
Like,
barely know some of the names that left on this board. Like it's
there's some
ridiculous.
wide receivers like
I don't know.
Nakua that's on here, but I'm gonna actually I think this late there's a QB that's on the board that might be actually worth taking a shot on, and that is Stetson Bennett. So just because of his situation, obviously with Stafford there being injured, kind of on the twilight of his NFL career, maybe Stetson gets to come in and have some opportunities to show what he's got, and you just never know, right? I mean, so he's one guy that I would put after Hooker, but much later on.
I think the auto draft made a bold choice in drafting Jake Moody out of Michigan.
That is
in the middle of the
hilarious.
round. I think he will probably give you the most fantasy points out of anyone left on this list.
Hey, is he
Now there's one.
is he though the guy like more bold here as the auto picker, or like even bolder as San Francisco to take him in the third? That's the question.
He wasn't going to be there in the fourth. There
Really?
was enough. There's enough guys that were
That are wanting
enough
him?
teams that were wanting him.
Wow. Oh shoot, it's your pick, Patrick.
It
You
is my
got one?
pick, and I got a quarterback that I think is most likely to see playing time
Hmm.
in his rookie year. Clayton Tune at the Arizona Cardinals.
You think he's gonna see playing time?
He is the most likely of any of these rookies left to see playing time this year.
Yeah, maybe. Just because Kyler, we don't know his situation.
We don't know what Kyler's situation is going to be.
Yeah.
We don't know who they want to, if they want to run with Colt McCoy or not.
Dude, I can't believe McCoy is so old. It was like just yesterday he was like a rookie.
You guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. My mic says it keeps disconnecting from my browser, and I don't know what's happening. My computer's getting really
What's
glitchy
up with
right
your?
now.
You got to run that Norton antivirus up in there. Oh, Kenny McIntosh as the last pick.
I don't mind the McIntosh pick.
Yeah.
I think Wicks out of Green Bay is another interesting one who's got a little bit of draft capital. And then one last person I left in my queue that didn't get picked was Ibrahim out of Illinois, going to Detroit as a UDFA. With the way the Lions have used third, fourth string running backs, especially when someone goes down with an injury.
Oh
Any
yeah,
injury
we've
to
seen
Montgomery.
some weird, not weird names, but some unknowns come up and just produce.
Where
Can we talk about this?
Ibrahim could easily not yet. Ibrahim could easily come in if
The answer's
Montgomery goes down
nothing.
and fill that role.
To this. Nothing.
I don't want him.
Adam Thielen is so cooked. Like totally washed.
Wait,
Like,
how
he-
many years did he get though?
I don't
Did he
know
get like
why.
3 years?
Just because the Panthers are fiscally irresponsible.
I think there's huge outs though after year one for him.
Yeah. So
Hey,
let's talk
great
about the,
team name. Real quick, great team name.
Let's talk about the
Thielen, you
mock
get
for a
Thielen
second.
and Moody on the same team, and I'm feeling Moody. You know, boom, roasted.
Let's talk about the mock. Any observations?
Yeah, Mayer
That might-
before Kincaid shouldn't happen.
I agree with that.
I do feel like A-Chain, like he's going high. They still have Mostert, and they still retain Jeff Wilson Jr.
I mean,
So-
I'm very high on A-Chain,
Yeah,
but I get it. I get it. It
the
feels
fit is
like
there.
it feels like we're doing the same trap all over again. And I always say, "Oh, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it." I will say, I don't have A-Chain ranked overall that high. Like in my overall rankings, he's not ranked that high.
Yeah,
But the rest of the class is so weak. He's the player I'd take because at the end of the day, I don't want to make in a 1 QB any pick after 105. I don't want to make that pick. In a Superflex, anything after 108 or maybe Dalton Kincaid and tight end premium like this. I don't want to make that pick. But if I have to, I'm going to take the player I think I can get rid of the soonest. Because I don't believe really in any of these players. It's not like there's a player. It's not like I believe in Zay Flowers or I believe in, Zach Charbonnet. I mean, I do, but Zach Charbonnet is the one where that's the ultimate bet on talent
yeah.
over situation. Kendre Miller, I wish that the Saints had not restructured Alvin Kamara's contract. I really wish they had not done that. That changed things. It's a little different because even if he's suspended 6 games this year, they're stuck under $16 million next year with no way out. He's going to be there. Alvin Kamara is not Dalvin Cook. He's not washed.
Yeah, I agree with
More
that.
like Aaron Jones, except I think Alvin Kamara has more left, not less. So Alvin Kamara,
Seriously?
absolutely.
I remember you talking a lot about Alvin Kamara, telling us how washed he was.
No, as a runner, he's washed, but Alvin Kamara's never been good as a runner. He hasn't been good as a runner in 3 years. But as a pass catcher, Alvin Kamara is not washed at all. As a pass catcher and as in that role, I mean, you see players, the days of Alvin Kamara dominating touches, he cannot do what he's done the last 2 years because he's been overused. And as a rusher, he's been run into the ground because he's been forced into a role where he does not excel. They fixed that. They brought in Jamal Williams. They brought in Kendre Miller. He's not going to be forced into that role anymore.
The funny thing is, it's kind of like a Swift type role, right? I mean, that Kamara, if he can just kind of settle into
Kamara is
the
actually
pass
good.
and going. I mean, Swift is still good, but he's just something about him is
he's never had a high volume receptions role though for a consistent period. Whereas Alvin Kamara, let me read you what the problem is. The problem is that he went from 81, 81, 81, 83 receptions to 47 and 57.
Yeah.
That's the problem. His yards per target is not materially different. 2017, he was elite and a ridiculous level that no running back has ever done. Yeah. But in 2021 and 2022, he was no different overall from 2018 through 2020.
I think
he wasn't different in that area.
I think Carr's going to help. I think he's going to help a lot.
The problem is that he was overused if you look at 2021 and 2022, he had 240 carries and 223 carries.
It's too many.
It's a misuse of Alvin Kamara because he's not meant to play that role.
I still remember watching games and being like, what are you guys doing? Like, why is he have 25 carries and like 2 receptions this game?
That offense was future trying to fit a square peg into a round hole with, we have one piece of this offense that is elite, and we have a defense that can get off the field.
The difference with Alvin Kamara now is he can no longer succeed in a miscast role. To that degree, as a runner, as a straight line runner, he's washed in that he was never that great at that, but when he was young, he was able to overcome that. Now he's not. He cannot do that. He's past that point. As a receiver, though, he's not washed. He's just as good as he always was. So the problem is, what I'm saying is it's not that Alvin Kamara is going to be excellent or that he's going to be a fantasy RB1. Because I don't think so. Not with 2 other running backs there. He's not going to be an RB1. But he's not disappearing. He's not disappearing or going away. He's not vanishing. As long as he's there, he's going to play a part. And that is going to be, a receiving part, which is a big problem. A big problem because if you have someone who's going to take all of the receiving work, because I can tell you that a 28-year-old Alvin Kamara is a better receiver than Kendre Miller will ever be. That much I can tell you. So that is a little bit of a problem. Now, if Alvin Kamara were to disappear, my take would totally change. If Alvin Kamara were just poof, gone, then Kendre Miller for me would be, the RB3 in this class. But I don't think Alvin Kamara is poof, gone. I think he's reduced in the rushing game, significantly reduced, and is going to serve a suspension. So I don't know what that's going to be worth for fantasy. I mean, what is that going to be? A mid to back end RB2? I really think Alvin Kamara is reduced, but reduced Alvin Kamara doesn't mean Kendre Miller RB1. Those are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Joe Mixon to me is finished, done, terrible.
That's what they were saying last year.
Well, but last year he was terrible. The only thing he has is volume. He's not actually good.
Sometimes that's
he had one game. He had one game.
No, he had more than one game, man. He had one amazing game. I'm just talking about
a talent perspective. I'm
talking about a production perspective.
Well, but there is an opportunity. You never know when running backs can come out of nowhere. You say there are no other running backs, but that could be. If running backs come out of nowhere,
everyone was saying Chris Evans was going to show up. That's basically,
the thing is,
that's what Chris Brown is now.
I believe that the Saints. I think we can take the mock. I think we're done with the mock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that the Saints still benefit from giving out, as in Alvin Kamara is actually providing positive value to the Saints, which I think Joe Mixon is horrible. Joe Mixon is providing no value over someone you could get off the street, Samaje Perine. But he's taking volume. So that's more vulnerable to me because volume can be replaced as soon as you find someone else to do it. But there isn't going to be someone else who can catch passes like Alvin Kamara just appearing randomly. I can tell you Jamal Williams is not that. And Kendre Miller is also not that. So that's why I have a little bit of a Kentre Miller a little bit lower than Devon Achane, where the competition is 31-year-old Raheem Mostert, who is inconsistent and can't play one game in a row without more than one game in a row without having an injury, and Jeff Wilson, who is the ultimate Jag. He's fine, but nothing more.
I like Wilson.
I like him too.
Yeah, one thing that we saw in the mock, I know we just took it down, but can you see Zay Flowers being put ahead for any reason of Quentin Johnston?
No, that's totally delusional. That's totally delusional.
Yeah,
That's a big
I mean,
mistake.
so that he actually got
crazy.
taken ahead of Johnston.
I saw that, and I thought that was insane, personally.
Yeah, I mean, he is in the mix, but he's always going to be at the tail end of that.
Zay Flowers is interesting though, because you do have a lot of new. You have a completely new offensive coordinator here in Baltimore, and investing a first-round pick on a wide receiver usually tends to mean that the team wants to pass more. And the Ravens offense, we all know it, we all see it. They've been one-dimensional the past 3-4 years. They just haven't been able to throw the football very well. If they try to get like 35, 36 pass attempts per game, because right now they've been hovering right under 30 for the last few years. If they get like 35, 36 pass attempts a game, maybe even more, like they could They could absolutely support more than one. I mean,
that's not going to happen.
Even with just 30 pass attempts a game, they were able to support Marquise Brown when he was like fully there. Like when he was held, like he had a 1,000-yard season in Baltimore. Zay Flowers could absolutely be very fantasy relevant. The upside is very capped. I agree, and that's why he should not go over Prince Johnson.
He has more competition, though. I mean, Bateman is still there. Andrews is there, and
honestly,
OBJ,
Andrews is there. But honestly, OBJ is washed. OBJ is done for.
He might be done, but he's still going to get targets.
Off an ACL tear. No team wanted to sign him for a long time. And Rashad Bateman, after 2 years, and they're investing a first-round pick in a wide receiver. It just shows that they don't have much faith in him.
Again, it's kind of the same thing. It doesn't mean that I want Rashad Bateman, but Rashad Bateman is not a zero.
He's not.
I actually think that, to be honest, I mean, Rashad Bateman was a better prospect than Zay Flowers, in my opinion. Rashad Bateman was a better prospect. The problem is that Rashad Bateman's career has been derailed by a lot of injuries, and then there were other problems. Lamar was not there. There was conflict with the coaching staff. I mean, Rashad Bateman, I think, is someone who would have succeeded almost anywhere else and went to the one situation and one set of circumstances where he failed. I think he would have succeeded almost anywhere else. But I do think that if he gets his act together, I don't think there's any universe where there's no universe in which Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers are both going to be fantasy relevant unless Mark Andrews
that doesn't happen.
disappear. If Mark Andrews exists, there's no universe in which that's possible. I mean, it almost worked in Philadelphia, and I think that's the best case scenario. But the problem is that Mark Andrews is not Dallas Goedert. Mark Andrews is multiple tiers above Dallas Goedert. So the issue is there, basically, A.J. Brown was consistently productive. DeVonta Smith was solid, and Dallas Goedert was hit or miss. The problem is that the second weapon that is like Mark Andrews is a higher tier of weapon. So with Mark Andrews there, it's not going to be Mark Andrews and two wide receivers to parallel the Philly situation. Mark Andrews would be the second weapon or first, and then one wide receiver could be consistent, but the other one is going to be shaky at best.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah, because I do think that the Philly model from 2022 is the upside, and that's 246 passing yards a game. That's the upside.
Also DeVonta Smith. I mean, he benefited from Goddard being out.
Let's also review
during
something
the Goddard's injury, Smith was a.
Well, that's part of what I'm saying.
He was like a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy.
But let's also review one other problem. There's another problem. Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers are not A.J. Brown.
No, they're not Devontae Smith.
Mingo is A.J. Brown. You haven't seen the comps?
You could squint and maybe see that Zay Flowers, if developing and everything goes right, could give you 80% of what DeVonta Smith gives you. Maybe in some universe that is a possibility.
DeVonta Smith, like Marquise Brown comp, is not a bad comp for Zay Flowers.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Not a bad comp.
But
it's a very good comp.
I think Marquise Brown's best is Zay Flowers, not DeVonta Smith, but Marquise Brown. That's, I think, too high. But Marquise Brown's best, whatever his best was, is Zay Flowers' ceiling. And his best was a low-end one. A low-end wide receiver one.
That's Zay Flowers' ceiling. Best season in Baltimore, he barely eclipsed 1,000 yards.
But
Yeah, that's a
during
testament
those
to the
periods
offense,
where he
though.
was wide receiver one,
was-
Mark
it
Andrews
was the
was having a
offense's problem.
problem, and there was no other receiver. You know,
Yeah.
there was a lot of problems. I mean, that things that went his way. So
Yeah, that year, because the year he eclipsed 1,000 yards was the year where all their running backs got hurt. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards,
but
Justice Hill.
Marquise Brown is
all
also
went down.
was a better prospect than Zay Flowers.
Yeah,
I like Hollywood. I think he's a buy low
Oh,
for a lot of people.
That's a
In
whole
Dynasty,
other
yeah, he is.
discussion.
Yeah.
That's a whole other discussion. But I mean, I think Hollywood Brown was a better. I don't think, for me, I think that Zay Flowers. If let's go on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say you say Jackson Smith and Jigba is a 9. You know, there are some prospects who are 10s, but Jackson Smith and Jigba was a 9 level prospect. Jordan Addison for me is like
7.
no, yeah, between
6.
7 and 8, and Quentin Johnston maybe a touch below, but I have Johnston higher because of the Chargers and the path to being 1.
Yep.
So I have, you know, maybe Addison I'd rate as a 7.5, Johnston is a 7.3, but the landing spot's enough to switch it, whereas JSN's a 9. Zay Flowers to me would be like a 6, like a difference, a big difference. So I don't have him as a prospect in the same tier. He was closer to the other receivers as a prospect for me pre-draft than he was to Johnston and Addison. So now that he landed in not a great landing spot, I have Zay Flowers. I did readjust my ranks. I think I actually was a little too mean to him, but I have him at wide receiver 31 in Dynasty. So not
okay.
Yeah, not terrible, but I have Johnston and Addison at 19 and 20.
Okay.
So a lot higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. To give you an idea.
That's pretty high. 19 and 20. That's pretty good.
Well, I think so, because if you just kind of look at those wide receivers in that range, it's a lot of
older guys.
I mean, Treylon Burks at 17. So after that, I mean, DJ Moore at 18. That's a little bit better, but and then I have Michael Pittman at 21 behind them, who I feel like is just kind of. Man, we know what Michael Pittman is. It doesn't excite me. And now with Anthony Richardson, some of the ceiling is not what I want.
Yeah.
It doesn't excite me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tyler, looking at your rankings, as we're right in that.
I just updated them, so you should have the
tail end of the wide receiver 2 rankings. Previously, for a while, you've had George Pickens ahead of Christian Watson, and that flip-flopped for you. Any reasoning? You used to have Pickens ahead of Watson.
Yeah.
And you switched it to Watson instead
after the draft?
After the draft.
Yes, because the Packers failed to draft wide receiver 1 in the draft. Whereas I never thought that the Steelers were going to. So since the Packers decided not to draft a wide receiver 1 in the draft, that raised Watson's value a little bit.
Okay.
So that's the reasoning behind that.
I'm not in on Pickens anyway, so I've dropped him lower.
I'm pretty in on Pickens.
So I remember you saying that before, is that you were really in on Pickens. So I was
surprised.
I was surprised to see the switch, even with the Packers not.
Well, I think I gained a lot of confidence in Watson from how they drafted. They drafted a lot of secondary options, but their draft tells me that they are, which I disagree with, but they are comfortable with Christian Watson as their 1. I don't agree with that. But they said that that's their plan.
Yep.
So if that's their plan, then he has to come up in the rankings because
I'm cool with it.
He's the 1 there.
Yep.
I moved a late 23 first for Watson last season.
Well, that worked out well now.
Oh yeah.
Got offered AJ Dillon 306, 23, 24 third for Aaron Jones and Jalen Warren. This is just a bunch of garbage.
I'll keep Jones and win.
I feel like Jones is worth more. AJ Dillon, I think I'm just kind of done.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Dillon just doesn't seem like he's ever going to reach that next level.
He had his chance. Like, this was the year 3. This was his chance if he was going to break out. But they brought Aaron Jones back yet again. I think. Oh, thank you, Patrick. I think they're clearly done with AJ Dillon.
Yeah, I mean he's going to be
not
who he's
done,
going to be.
But
yeah, he'll get touches, but I mean he's not ever going to be what people were hoping for when they drafted him. That somehow Aaron Jones' time would come to an end.
He's not going to be Derrick Henry light, running in the snow like we saw 2 years ago in his breakout game.
No, and also Green Bay has 2 picks in the second next year, the one from the Jets included. And Aaron Jones, I think this is it for Aaron Jones. I think this is the last year. And then AJ Dillon's rookie contract is up. So I think it might be an opportunity for them to overhaul their backfield completely.
Yep.
And these free agent running backs, it never works out. I mean, who was the last? You tell me. Who was the last? Let's see if we can come up with anybody. Who was the last free agent running back to go and sign elsewhere and then gain a lot of dynasty value? When was the last time that happened? Jerick McKinnon in 2018? That's the last one I can think of.
Well, I mean, I can name people who kept fantasy value. Like Leonard Fournette was a clear example of someone who kept retained value.
Well, no, I mean someone who gained dynasty value from their new spot, as in people thought it was good. Like not someone like Leonard Fournette or James Conner who signed for nothing and then outplayed that later. Who's the last running back to sign a big free agent contract? Even.
That's not even the meta anymore, right? I mean, to spend a ton of money on a running back.
McKinnon 5 years ago.
And then he sat there for 3 years.
But he didn't gain value.
Yeah, Le'Veon definitely didn't gain value. He was always like high.
LaShawn McCoy, maybe?
How many years ago was that?
That would have been when he went to the Bills back in like 2016, 2015.
That was like pre-Hutchinson, Eagles fan days.
Yeah.
McCoy.
Yeah.
LaShawn.
But at that point, he had been like
the OG
running back one for a little bit. Like he'd been up there, putting up nearly 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that usually when running backs are good,
no, they usually don't.
They stay on the same team.
But what I'm saying is that I don't think AJ Dillon is it. Because I don't think the Packers are. I think the Packers are just good. They use this rookie contract and they're gonna move on to someone else.
That same thing reasoning is why I'm nervous on DeAndre Swift. Even if you believe in the talent of DeAndre Swift, I'm nervous with the switching teams.
Oh, but Swift is so different from Dillon, obviously, in terms of like playmaking ability. I think.
But I'm just talking running backs changing teams in general. More often than not.
Especially for the capital he was exchanged for. He was exchanged for like a 4th and a 7th. He's not doing
DeAndre Swift also has landed on a team that's a very poor fit for
it just doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense.
He's a specialty pass catching running back on an offense that doesn't use pass catching running backs.
Doesn't score touchdowns.
I don't get the hype. I don't get the hype with DeAndre Swift.
I don't think there is much hype. I just think that
there's plenty of hype.
No, I think people are a little confused. Sometimes people don't know how to process emotions. Like, yes, he's better off on Philly than he was in his previous situation on Detroit. Yes, it is better. It's better. But better and good are not the same. Like, it's better. I have DeAndre Swift rated very similarly to how I had him rated before the whole draft process. As in, very similarly now as to what it was in Detroit before Gibbs got there.
So you're saying he is who you thought he was?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I think that they're going to use him, but I'm not confident in him being much. But I do think DeAndre Swift is not awful. And if he hits free agency, I do think he's someone that the NFL could look into. And he's someone who could get the right spot. That's why I haven't dropped him off the map. But I have DeAndre Swift in Dynasty at RB20. Like, not 10. I have him at 20.
Man, even 20 feels high.
It does, but if you actually look at the running
19 ahead.
I mean, just above him, I have Dobbins and Pierce, actually, after the draft.
Wow, Pierce. Oh, after the draft, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, after the draft. And just below him, I have Akers, who I hate. Javonte, who I hate. James Cook, who is such a wild card. I mean, he's proven nothing.
Yeah.
And then you get to like Charbonnet, who's done nothing and is in a terrible situation.
I've seen people be like really in on Cook now. And
he's risen a lot in my rankings.
I'm in on Cook. I was in on Cook pre-draft as someone that
I'm not in on James Cook.
He showed
basically what DeAndre Swift is in. He's basically DeAndre Swift in Philly. It just doesn't fit. There's just not a fit there.
He'd have to
play. They don't use pass catching running backs. They don't use them.
Well, he'll have to actually run the ball.
And that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's not his specialty.
It wouldn't be the first
not
time
who's very good at that. His size just doesn't allow him to do that.
Sure, and it wasn't Marlon Mack's specialty to run the ball, and then Indianapolis decided that he couldn't catch passes and all he was going to do was run the ball. Like it does happen. It does happen that teams use players. Damian Harris, actually a really good pass catcher, terrible in the role in college that New England forced him into, but there you go. Forced into a role that's not the role that he excels in. Joe Mixon, really explosive, bizarre. In college, Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine, same team in college. Samaje Perine was the big bruiser. Joe Mixon was the dynamic, third down more style back. And the NFL just said, no, we're going to change it. So, yes, I do acknowledge that it would require James Cook to play a different role than what he played in college. I acknowledge that. That is 100%.
Basically volume. I mean, you're talking about volume. He just needs more touches.
Correct. Yep. He would need to see rushing volume that he did not see in college. But let's remember that Josh Jacobs didn't either. There are other players there are many players who have not seen it in college who do it in the NFL. And his draft capital says that he should get an opportunity. They did not add anyone else. So I think you have to recognize that there is a range of outcomes that includes James Cook getting the lion's share of touches, which in the Buffalo offense, if one running back gets most or all, that running back's going to be very good. The problem is that it's always been split like almost dead even between two players, and that's kind of destroyed everything. But if one player gets everything, they can be very good.
I'm not worried about Damian Harris stealing.
Damian Harris is terrible.
I'm not worried about Damian Harris stealing value and touches from Cook. One of the things we saw from James Cook as the season progressed, as we approached Thanksgiving last year, was he started receiving more touches, moving from five touches a game to 15, even upwards of. He broke 20 in the game against New England. It was more of a snowy game, but they even use him as a pass catching back, where he's maxed out at 6 catches in the game. If he's getting 2 to 3 targets, which is very doable, that floor is there. I want that floor as a flex play on a contending team every day. I want to know I can put a 10, 11-point guy in there who had no touchdowns last year in a position where touchdowns are bonus.
Here's my thought, though. People always ask me, I get this question all the time. My answer is always no. Are there any buy low running backs? There are never buy low running backs, ever. Running backs are always overvalued. They're always overvalued. You
need them to win. That's what
you need them to win. That's why you draft them in the rookie draft. Because the one time you can get them without overpaying. It's one time you can get them without
startup.
It's actually easier to get. They're more fairly valued, I feel, in the rookie draft. In the startup, they're pushed up because people don't have needs yet, so they force taking the running backs. In rookie draft, sometimes you're able to get them.
Really, I mean,
that's what I found.
Has been that so many people with the meta of young wide receivers, like a lot of solid running backs, get pushed down a lot.
If you're willing to take the old guys, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Like, if you think 26 is old, then you're going to get a gold mine of productive vets later on. And we see the same thing happening, though, with quarterbacks right now, too. I think, like, Bo, like, he posted a recent draft. Like, I think he got Dak Prescott at, like, 2.11 in a, Superflex startup. And I was like...
That's fine.
I think that's really good value. And it's probably because of the rookies, like, coming into the first round. People being really excited about taking AR, so early and things like that. So it's interesting to see.
Yeah, I would just say that in a rookie draft, you can sometimes get, I like getting value on running back. It's not always a value. A lot of the values are the ones in the later rounds. Like, I would much rather spend my 3rd round pick on, Deuce Vaughn over like Michael Wilson. What is Michael Wilson going to do for me? Like, I don't care that he went.
Part like sharp, like people were having him at like 106, 107. It was pretty wild.
That's why I'm still willing to take Charbonnet. I'm still willing to take Charbonnet because the talent is there. Injuries happen all the time in the NFL, and my evaluation. Charbonnet is a very weird one because he actually got the draft capital we wanted. My evaluation of the talent didn't change, but the landing spot sucks.
I think he's going to be a backup
like
to Walker.
if you were to rank running back landing spots, like Seattle would probably be one of the worst, if not the worst ones.
Yeah, for him, for sure.
Indianapolis is worse.
Yeah. Indianapolis, maybe. But
oh man,
it's so mind-boggling because it's not supposed to work that way. It wasn't supposed to happen this way, and now we're all just so confused.
I mean, the Seahawks
do love to
rely
run the
so much
football.
on the run.
Pete Carroll loves
and
to play
who else do they have,
1960s
right?
football. We all know that.
The
Who else
problem
was left there? DJ
that-
Dallas? Is that who they still
It was
have?
DJ
Well, that
Dallas.
doesn't matter.
No,
But
DJ Dallas is gone.
let's think
Is he?
about. No, I
Mhm.
thought he was still there.
I could have
think
sworn I
he's
saw
still
him
there.
sign somewhere else.
No, he definitely didn't.
I think-
That's Travis.
I think
Homer.
they have 3 running backs now, like Walker and then Charbonnet and then
Travis Homer signed with the Bears. That's what.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Homer.
Let me just say this though. Think about this on the Seahawks. They have Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Jackson Smith-Njigba, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. And
wild.
what about Noah Fant? Don't you feel bad for Noah Fant?
Yeah, fan.
He's
just
man.
stuck there.
Buried. Yeah.
he still
buried down there.
he still has. It's just not enough to go around. I mean, right? That's just what
No,
it is.
Noah Fant
Fant
has
can
not
definitely
dropped
produce.
off my dynasty rankings because now
he's
we're
tight
1
end.
year closer to the next team.
Yeah.
Noah Fant is someone who's
And
young enough
from
that
tight
this
end
is someone
standpoint,
who's-
I mean, he still has all the tools to succeed. He just needs a place that's going to give him what he needs, which is targets.
yeah, that's why I haven't dropped him off my rankings, but he'll never succeed on this team. He needs to go to another team.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the Seahawks have a lot of things to support, and Geno Smith is in charge. And if he goes down, it's Drew Lock.
Oh yeah, lock time, baby.
Wasn't that scary?
Oh my god.
You know who the Seahawks should
Dude.
have drafted?
Who?
Darnell Washington.
Would have been a good fit for their offense.
Yeah, to help.
If
with the
you're
run
going to
game.
really commit to the run,
Yeah.
to help with the
But they
run,
also
you get two
drafted
strong
JSN,
running
so they're
backs, you got
not
it.
they drafted JSN. They're not committing to the run.
They're gonna let Geno cook. They like his recipe.
I know, but then why would they draft Zach Charbonnet round 2?
I don't know.
It's so
But why would they draft
confusing, man.
JSN
It's
round
so
1?
confusing. It makes no sense.
He has a fun
think-
name.
I like to look at it as Zach Charbonnet was drafted to help the run, and I think JSN is the Tyler Lockett replacement for when Tyler Lockett goes down because he's 30 years old, and I think next year he is a
Pretty one is
prime cut.
together.
Next year he is a prime cut candidate. Like,
I mean, they can cut. It's actually gone under the radar, but they can cut. They can cut him after this year and
Yeah.
save
Yeah.
like $9 million. But I feel
They
like people
can.
don't talk about
Yeah.
that.
yeah, they can cut Lockett. They can absolutely do it. Like,
I
they have all the
absolutely
power.
saw this.
I
yeah,
feel like that's
absolutely
why they
saw this
drafted
as a-
JSN because after Metcalf and Lockett, they have nobody at wide receiver. They have nobody. Like they need.
I just saw
someone
it that
else.
way too, as a replacement guy, and then
Yeah.
it just stinks for fantasy standpoint because JSN's the type of player that if he goes onto a team like how Addison, he's going to be playing alongside Jefferson. Like JSN would produce huge numbers, across from Jefferson. I think as not the third option or the fourth option, but as the.
I just
second
think
option on the
JSN is
team.
so good, it's not going to matter. But DK Metcalf definitely moved down my rankings.
Yeah.
I'm
I could see
nervous.
that. I could see that.
I think he's a sell high if you can, to be honest.
Well,
like,
it's not high anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, some
not
people are
that.
just with the name, and they're still enamored with that picture. That he was where he's standing next to
I
A.
think that's kind of worn off because he hasn't
When he
really
jumped
delivered.
like 10 feet in the air.
He hasn't delivered that kind of
Oh,
high
yeah,
end wide
that
receiver
picture.
one.
That advertisement was so good. It got
Yeah,
so
man,
many
All right,
people.
looked-
here
he
we're
looked
a
like he
little
was just in the
behind
sky.
on some of the questions, so
right, we should do that.
let's get back to that. How much is Aaron Jones's receiving work impacted going from Rodgers to Love?
If Love is smart, he's gonna check it down more.
He's not going to check
Love
it
can
down
run, though.
more.
Love
He's
can
not going
run.
to check it down more. It's
Not
either
more than old man Aaron Rodgers.
it's not going to be better. It's not going to be better. It's either going to be the same or less. It's not going to be more.
Yeah, old man
And you're
Aaron
putting
Rodgers
in
at
someone
his
who's
age.
young versus someone who's old. So
Yeah.
it's not going to go up.
Yeah.
I would say though, I'm not.
It's not
With
something
Aaron
to be worried
Jones
about.
this year, he's going to be a tough one. I haven't done any redraft ranks. I think last year I tried to jump into that a little too early. Nobody really cares about my redraft ranks in May.
Yeah,
So I'm probably gonna give it a break on the redraft. I'm probably gonna start that process in mid-June, then have
Yeah,
them ready for
that's
July 1st. But Yeah, for me, Aaron Jones, I don't think Aaron Jones is going to be an RB1, but he'll be in RB2 range somewhere. You just worry. I mean, at that age, like, it's hard. You're betting against the odds.
Yeah.
Once you're past 27 with a running back, you're betting against the odds.
You're also relying on Matt LaFleur's play calling, because it's not going to be a matter of Love dumps it off there. He's going to look other places for his dump offs or his safety valves. It's going to come down to what does LaFleur think is going to move the ball.
Yeah, I am.
And if he's smart, which sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. And as a Packers fan, I want to put my head through a wall sometimes watching his play calling. But hopefully,
as a Bears fan, I'm happy that Rodgers is gone.
You should be. You should be. I saw memes of Rodgers as he was grabbing a Jets hat, like handing off the keys to the Bears franchise over to Jordan Love as he's like walking out the door.
That's funny.
That's
like,
so stupid.
He's putting on the hat. He's exiting the door, and then he goes, "Here you go!" Like drops it as he walks out the door.
Yeah,
We're the team now.
I think this was related to our free agent discussion. 111, 201, and 110 for 210 for Devonta Smith. It's Devonta Smith, really easily, right?
Smith.
I mean, this is not even close.
Yeah. Especially this year.
Yeah,
definitely in this class, 100%.
Devonta Smith really easily. Let's see. Swift is better football ad than fantasy for Philly, who will help them stretch out the defense even more. I totally agree with that.
Sure, yeah.
Yep.
Given what they paid, I mean, he's an excellent football ad. You can't argue with it from Howie Roseman's perspective.
Philly has done a good job of having economy
Excellent
running back.
Job, not
backfield.
just good.
It's crazy.
All right. What's Elijah Moore worth in 2023 picks? Okay, so in
I'm
terms
not
of
buying
Elijah Moore, they drafted Cedric Tillman. I thought the Browns were a candidate to take a day 2 wide receiver, but I did not think it was a guarantee. The fact that they did it and someone I like, Cedric Tillman is a good prospect. He's a good prospect.
Yeah.
He's
not
a
very
bad
good.
He's a
very good prospect.
Elijah Moore was a better prospect. It was significant.
Oh, 100%.
But
yeah,
Cedric Tillman is a good prospect. So now we're getting a little. I mean, Amari Cooper is the one there. Cedric Tillman is going to come into the mix. You know, Donovan Peoples-Jones is still there. David Njoku is competing. Elijah
David
Moore,
Bell, R.I.P.
David Bell is obviously dead.
Oh,
I'm not sure if I even still rank David Bell.
No.
It's so sad.
Tillman cuts out David Bell completely.
I have David Bell at wide receiver 94 in Dynasty.
Yeah, he's
Move him to 100. Move him to 100.
Pretty much dead.
94.
But seriously, I'm not buying Elijah Moore anywhere. I never had him anywhere.
I wish I didn't have him on so many rosters.
Yeah. And I remember
I got rid of him.
Crazy trades for first. No, like legitimately, people were still.
I got rid of him a little bit, but not enough. I still have him on a couple rosters. Yeah, Elijah Moore. When you look at this kind of situation, these situations where you get traded off the rookie contract like this, they very rarely work out. And then you watch the Browns draft a day 3 wide receiver and Cedric Tillman, who, as Tyler was saying, I also believe he is a very good prospect. He profiles as somebody who could take a lot of volume. He's a big body wide receiver, someone who can make some big contested catches. And I'm definitely worried for Elijah Moore. I don't think he's someone I want to buy. And I think it's hard to sell him though. Like nobody wants him.
You had your chance.
I think nobody wants him. So if you have him, you're stuck. If you have him, you're stuck.
Traded to the Browns, I unloaded any Elijah Moore that I had.
I tried to, and I got.
For me, Elijah Moore, I have him at wide receiver 45. So I'd rather take my chance on a Rashee Rice on the Chiefs or Marvin Mims, a second round prospect I really believe in. I'd rather take what I haven't seen over Elijah Moore. But I still have Elijah Moore over some other guys like, Wan'Dale Robinson, Juju, Darnell Mooney. I haven't completely given up on Elijah Moore because I do think he's talented. And I think he showed that he was talented in the NFL. So I haven't written him off. I'd rather have Elijah Moore versus Cedric Tillman straight up. If I had to choose, Elijah Moore's not old.
When you say Juju, all I can think of you saying is poo-poo.
Doo-doo Smith Pooster. That's right. Doo-doo Smith Pooster.
That's what it was.
Yes.
I remember it was
Smith Pooster. But the thing is,
fantastic.
if we were reunited with Odell Beckham, we would have the shit team all together. It'd be a big problem. I think it would be a big problem. But in
That-
terms
that-
of
they
where
both
that,
would have to wear
That
the
should be on.
number.
That should be in
No.
Cleveland. That should be on Cleveland.
yes, Dudu Smith Booster. I agree.
That'd
But
be
for me, in
so
terms of
great.
Elijah Moore, the rookie class is kind of weak this year. So I in Superflex 10 and Premium, I have Tank Bigsby at 208, and I have Elijah Moore behind him. So I have him between the 208 and 209 in 23 picks in Superflex 10 and Premium. There, sound like, yeah, just what he's worth. It's where it falls.
Yeah.
A lot of guys didn't get good landing spots. Not for me. Not for me.
Sure, you draft him in the 18th round. Yeah, he's going to be a greater value than someone going in probably the
Damian
6th
Harris
round.
to me has no upside. He's never
There's
taken more
none.
than 50% really of carries, and half the work is not going to work in this package.
He's gonna be so touchdown dependent because the pass catching work is not gonna be there. If it's going anywhere, it's going to James Cook, and he's in an offense where Josh Allen's gonna take touchdowns. The rush attempts will be taken for other backs. Like there's no upside.
Yeah, I'm
He'll be
I'm
like
good
a
on
very,
I'm
he'll be a
good on
very,
Damian Harris.
he'll be a headache for you.
I wouldn't say no upside just because of the offense that he's on, and if he can kind of carve out a
We
small,
have seen him rush
you
for
know,
15 touchdowns before. I mean, like,
That's not going to happen in this.
but that's not
offense.
gonna happen. I would highly.
We'll,
doubt that.
we'll see. I wouldn't say no upside, but this is
The upside is touchdowns. That's his upside.
I think he's just a guy.
and I think
The
Cook
upside
is not
is
going to be
he
drafted
plays
that
17
high.
games. The upside is he plays 17 games and he's a value. As any late round running back can be a value.
The upside
Somebody
really
goes
is
down
that
ahead
if
of him.
James Cook gets hurt, then Damian Harris could be playable in a pinch.
But at that point, they're picking up Zeke.
Maybe.
They're picking up Fournette.
I think those guys will be gone
They
before the
will-
season starts.
Oh yeah, they're going
I
to get
don't
picked
know.
up like soon. They'll get picked up.
I think Zeke is actually going to
See?
sign very soon, and I think it's going to be with the Chargers. The Chargers drafted
Ooh,
nobody.
I'm okay with that.
And they cannot go into a season with
Just
Isaiah
Philly.
Terrible and Joshua Fumble as their two backups. I heard they had a player named Joshua Kelly, but I think Joshua Fumble is a much better name because it's a big fumbling problem. So I don't think they
Wow,
can do
that's
that.
a bold prediction.
Not
a lot of
really.
people
I
are
mean,
just-
it's been linked constantly.
really.
not really
I mean,
that
I've,
bold.
I've only seen him going back to Dallas.
No, I was reading an article today from the Dallas Beat that said that that's not going to happen.
Okay,
So I don't think so.
interesting.
What do you think about Najee? I like Najee.
Yeah, he's still a
Darnell
volume guy.
Washington is a great addition for Najee. I mean, he is a great
Oh
blocker.
yeah.
I can't
He's,
argue
he's
with
hurt
that. I
though
mean,
right now, isn't he?
he'll be fine when the season starts.
Washington,
though.
yeah, he was hurting, but he should be fine when the season starts. Yeah.
Not worried about that. I have Najee in Dynasty at RB10.
I think I've got him at
Fine.
11
He's fine. I mean, he's someone, given his price, actually someone I could draft.
or 12.
Him and Ramondre seem to be.
Would you
the
rather have
ones-
him or Ken Walker?
Walker?
Walker.
I'd rather have Walker.
Walker's
I'll
one
take the
spot
years.
above.
I'll take
Yeah.
the years.
I mean, are we?
Walker's 2.5
how-
years younger.
Yeah, Walker's 2.5 years younger. Yeah.
Last year's already
Yeah.
25.
Yeah, because Najee.
Because
Yeah, I
he
remember.
was
I
an
was like,
older
remember for a
prospect.
second. I was like, wait, they haven't been in the
Yeah.
league too far from each other. I was like, but yeah,
That's
Najee
the
was
only
definitely
reason.
older.
I'll take the years. If they were the same age, I would take Najee, but they're not.
I would agree, but yeah.
Najee
Just
also has
because
a
he
lot of
doesn't
miles
have the
on him.
competition. Yeah.
Why is Spears ranked higher than Roshan?
Because he's the better player.
He's better player, has better draft
We
He's
just
straight
capital.
up. He's just a better player. He's a better
Yeah.
player.
He
than
is
The
a
Roshan.
situation
better
with Derrick
player.
Henry there. I mean,
I wrote the Roshan article, or not that article, from the 101 article. The 301 in that article that I wrote for DLF was Roshan. I wrote about, and funnily enough, the 101 was Bijan, obviously. So I wrote about Bijan and Roshan in the same article. And I could not have been less impressed with Roshan. He is nothing. He is nothing. He is just a guy. I mean, you're talking, this is Jeff Wilson. Like, this is what this is. This is a nobody.
hey,
This is-
you
this
speak
is
so you speak too absolutely, man. I know that's your thing, but
No, it's not
like-
absolutely.
I
It's
think
you have
he's
to
a very
I mean,
understand
physical
that-
Jeff
running back.
Wilson. Jeff
No, but
Wilson.
you have to understand what that means. What that means is that you're just a guy. Just a guy at running back can succeed in the right situation, but
Sure.
Roshan is nothing. I mean, what does he offer? What is he plus in? Anything?
That, yeah,
Can you name
that I'm
one?
not
Can
sure.
we name one thing that he's a plus? No, because there isn't anything. He's just okay. But I think also people think like, oh, he's just okay. I'm dismissing him. You have to understand, just okay at an NFL level is really good.
Yeah.
But for fantasy, he's just okay. He doesn't
Yeah,
offer anything. He
Yeah, his
offers
way to fantasy
nothing.
relevancy is a very tough road.
Roshan is a
capital
trap.
and
It's a trap because people are
And
seeing an
you
open
have Derrick
depth
Henry
chart.
potentially like leaving in the next few years, like potentially losing hit.
It's less about Spears, who I don't like either.
In Washington. I like Spears. I think
the medicals. I've actually been doing
good.
some research into
The
that.
knee arthritis is not.
I've been doing
good.
some research
It
into
doesn't
that. It's
look
more than
good.
that. Actually,
No.
it's a big problem. It's a
Yeah.
big
It is a
problem.
Arthritic
It's a big
knees
problem. It's going to limit.
Isn't that what?
Gurley.
I think Todd Gurley had that.
And how did that work out?
Yeah, and Gurley actually, his was even worse though. I think he had a degenerative issue.
What?
As well.
And Sony Michel also same thing. And how did that work out? He was good for 1 year and then he burned out.
Yeah, Michel's not even on a team right now.
No,
right?
because his knees are finished.
Yeah.
I am very concerned. I wasn't so concerned at first, but I did some more research and looked into some people that I trust. I'm very concerned, extremely concerned that he's not going to last more than a year or two. But
people want him to be the heir apparent to Henry, but I don't think it's just automatic like that.
That's not going to happen. I've moved Tajay Spears in my overall running back ranks. He's down at running back 33 now. So I had him around 26 right after rookie drafts went off, but he's down to 33, way down. Problem with Roshan is sometimes these fourth-round running backs are Joshua Kelly. Like, they just come in and are nothing. Joshua Kelly is a similar prospect to Roshan.
Can you imagine all the finagling you did with your rookie draft picks in March, February, only to be left with having to draft Roshan Johnson? Like, you traded up, you finagled your picks, and all of a sudden you're left with Roshan Johnson. I'm like, I don't feel good about that.
Here were the fourth round running backs last year. Dameon Pierce, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Here's the rest of them. Zamir White, Isaiah Spiller, Pierre Strong, and Hassan Haskins. Those last four didn't play at all, despite having some open depth chart opportunity. Let's go back to 2021. Let's see if that's better. Okay, this one looks a little bit better. Michael Carter's on there. Kene Wangu. That one's not so good. Ramondre Stevenson is good. Chuba Hubbard. That one is not so good. Let's go back to 2020. Here's a 4-pack of fourth rounders. Joshua Kelly, LaMichael Pirine, Anthony McFarland on an open depth chart, by the way. I might add.
For half a second,
and DJ Dallas. That's 2020. That's your fourth round.
LaMichael looked pretty good when he got to play.
Okay, what about 2019? Bryce Love.
Oh gosh.
Justice Hill.
Oh my goodness. That name.
Benny Snell. Benny Snell. And Tony Pollard. Okay, so there's one good one in there. See, we're noticing a pattern here. What about 2018? Maybe that'll be better. Naeem Hines.
Pretty good.
Mark Walton.
He had one good year.
Mark Walton, who I don't know who that is.
That's Bill
Ito
Walton's
Smith.
kid, I think.
Okay. Kalen Balaj.
Dude, Balaj had some games for the
and Chase Edmonds. So that's round 4. 2017.
Dude, Chase Edmonds every yearly trap he was.
Joe Williams, Donnell Pumphrey, Jamal Williams, Wayne Gallman, and Marlon Mack. So you get some good players. Jamal Williams 5 years later is relevant.
Yeah.
So you get some good players in there, but over half of these players, did zero. Despite some of them, like Anthony McFarland in 2020 and Samaje Perine in 2017, having open depth charts, and Samaje Perine delivered nothing in his original landing spot. No, Samaje. LaMichael too also had an open depth chart originally.
Didn't he do with Jeremy Hill?
Did.
I thought Samaje
that was a wash, Jeremy Hill, though. A lot of people said that was a great. Samaje Perine went as a first-round rookie pick in a lot of drafts. And so did Justice Hill, and so did Kenneth Dixon in 2016. Mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. So this fourth round trap, don't make the same mistake again on a prospect who's bad. So
at the same time, like if you have a 4-round, 5-round rookie dynasty draft,
I'm not saying
you probably
don't pick
have
him.
to take someone. Yeah.
I'm not saying don't pick him, but the question is between Spears and Roshan. We're going to take Spears, the one who was picked in the 3rd round, 100%. Who's a much better prospect.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather
definitely.
take like a shot on Jonathan Mango, second, or Jaden Reed, even if I don't believe in the prospects over Roshan. Okay. Mid-draft, 1 QB, 12-team PPR contender. Back-to-back picks with 204 and 205. Thoughts on Downs, Roshan? It's probably not going to be him. Laporta and Hyatt here. For me, I think Laporta the most on that list.
Downs Laporta, if it's back-to-back.
I like Laporta.
Mid-draft. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
If
he
Kendrick
has-
Miller's available, pick him because I've seen him go. I've
he's not
I've
available.
seen him go.
It's
I've
also
seen
one
him go,
QB.
like,
It's one QB. He's not available.
Oh
to
yeah,
take
and one
the
QB.
board.
Never mind. Yep, one QB.
Um,
Sorry, I
For
missed
me,
that.
it's easy. Laporta and Downs
he's
are my
available.
choice. It's not particularly close.
I would agree. Laporta and Downs.
Laporta. I love Laporta. Laporta.
I think
is,
Laporta you can make the argument Laporta's number 1 on this list.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I have him number 1.
Yeah.
You can make the
I
argument.
mean, look at the
there, Laporta's number
situation
one.
he's
do.
going into, right? I mean, he was drafted for a very specific reason. Get him the ball in the tight end spot, right?
Yeah. I would absolutely go with Laporta. I mean, his draft capital is really good. Downs, I loved as a prospect. Draft capital and landing spot were disappointing. Honestly.
Hey,
I was
Tyler,
disappointed.
do you like Schoonmaker?
Do I like him?
Yeah, like I mean, he got the draft capital. He's going into a situation where they lost Schultz. They only have 2 guys: Ferguson, who was a 4th rounder, and then another guy who's just a blocker. So
in a tight end premium, sure, because maybe he'll develop into a flex that I can add in the lineup later on. But in a regular league, not really. I just think he's a bad prospect. He's someone who is more drafted for his blocking ability. It's not that interesting.
I think he has sneaky good catching, though, right?
He is dependable as a pass catcher. He doesn't drop the ball.
That's kind of what I would say. He's dependable. It's a good way.
As watching him weekly as a Michigan fan,
serviceable. Yeah,
he did what he was supposed to do in terms of the receiving game.
But they did start getting him more involved in his senior year, like into
and that came with the
pass
offense
catching.
shifting quite a bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who
So
are
maybe
some
we
of your
haven't
favorite?
seen his full potential.
Some of your favorite rookies to draft in those later rounds. I mean, Keishon Butte if he falls, but honestly, he's actually going too high for my taste most of the time.
I like Jaden Reed. I drafted him.
He's not in those rounds though. Or he shouldn't be.
He's coming
Maybe
at the beginning of third.
He's fallen in the beginning.
Okay,
of third
wait. If you want a really deep sleeper, you heard it here. I would look into Deneric Prince. Deneric Prince, the UDFA running back for Kansas City. I would look into him. The Kansas City people, those people, well, we can trust those people, whatever those people say. They're very into him. It's a big, big amount of commotion over him. So I would
Is it
look
like
into
Darwin
that.
Thompson commotion or?
Well, I'm not saying to trade him for first rounder, but I would look into
I know,
him
I'm
in
just
round 5. Look into him. I would look into it.
I would, if you're going like undrafted free agent style, like a deep sleeper, I'd draft him also in our rookie draft. I think I would take Keaton Mitchell. I'd take a look at Keaton Mitchell, undrafted free agent for the Ravens. He was hyper productive in college, even at a smaller size, hyper efficient with the ball in his hands. He's a great pass catcher. He can really, really do well in the pass catching game. And he's in a Ravens offense that, doesn't necessarily use pass catchers a ton, but if they find that he's talented as a pass catcher, they need pass catching help. He could be there. He could also take some rush attempts away from Jacob Dobbins. Like I just think that he's at least interesting as a 5th rounder because that's where he's
make
going.
the team though.
I would say Evan Hull.
I mean, there's no guarantee that Prince
Evan
makes
Hull
the
is a
team.
backup to JT.
That's great as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Chase
Deion
Brown is
Jackson
great.
can go out, right?
Chase Brown, I think, is interesting too.
I think Chase Brown is going to be pushed too far up the board though.
You think he'll be in the second?
Yeah. I think people will see the opportunity and look into that. I would also say, for looking for some late sleepers, so Cincinnati drafted 2 wide receivers, Charlie Jones, who I want no part of, and Andre Yoshivash, who I like a lot better if he is drafted a lot later. So there's a couple potential options. One last one, and then we'll move on. Elijah Higgins, the wide receiver from Stanford.
Apparently I saw a report on him that he's going to tight end.
Well, that's why. So there's a lot of discussion about that, him potentially converting to tight end. So you might be able to get a little bit of a value there. He went to Miami, who doesn't have a tight end. So I would keep him on your radar, but he's not a very good prospect. So I'm not sure he's going to be much if he converts to a tight end. But something to think about.
Ooh.
Something to think about. And
Can I
then
Can I throw one more name
Clayton
out?
Clayton Tune, the quarterback, 5th round from Arizona.
Mm.
I would consider drafting him. Go ahead.
My two, Ibrahim, who I mentioned earlier, as we're
Yes.
wrapping up the draft. I like him as a UDFA in Detroit.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But then a 5-star high school recruit, Ronnie Bell, going in the 7th round to San Francisco.
I couldn't want Ronnie Bell less.
I think he was very underutilized in college, but the talent and the skill is there. Could see it develop.
The Packers did draft a running back, Lou Nichols.
I
Might
don't
look
care.
into him.
You know, the
not?
Packers,
So,
as a
dude.
Packers fan, I don't even care.
Dude, it would be so good to have him and Rashad Penny on a team. Yeah, Nichols
Yeah.
and Penny.
There's a lot of things.
lot of
And then have Danny Dimes as your quarterback.
Yeah, so much.
Oh
change.
my gosh.
Yeah,
I
dude,
love
change
that.
is change is good.
Have your
Um,
profile picture be Barack Obama and it's change you can believe in.
Yeah. We're probably I think we're gonna go down to the bottom of the chat and then we're gonna wrap up because I'm still kind of tired from recording the 9 hours during the draft. How do you see Chicago running back shaking out for this year and next? Will Roshan play? I honestly think Chicago's 2024 starter is not currently on the roster. And Roshan will play, but I'm kind of good.
I think Foreman is the early down guy.
I don't want it. I'm kind of out on the whole situation.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be
Foreman is the
split.
guy. I think
I don't think that Chicago has a running back finish in the top 40.
top 40. I think
No,
Foreman
because-
if he gets enough carries.
No, because Fields is going to vulture rushing work, and if they split it 3 ways, I don't think any one finishes in the top 40. Not unless there's injuries. If they're all healthy, I don't think you're going to want any of them. I don't believe in any of them.
I'll probably take Foreman late.
Herbert's the talent I believe in the most.
Yeah, he's the one who's going to be overdrafted probably.
I agree with that. I don't think I'm going to draft any of them. 107 or 24 first and second from a competing team. So it's your choice of Johnston or Addison first and second. In a Superflex, I just lean toward the 24 first and second and hope that it's a quarterback. And
Yep.
because I feel like at worst it's going to be a wash and at best it's
In
going to
your
be big in
favor.
your favor.
Yep.
So I'll take the first and second. If we're just the first, I would take the 107. But first and second, I'll take that. We traded Brees Hall for 224 first and 124 second in a rebuild. If you're rebuilding in a Superflex, I would
Yes.
probably do it.
Yep.
I'd probably do it.
I like
Um,
getting away from the injury risk of the ACL.
Because what's he ever going to be worth more? I mean, I guess as a running back he could be, but like, is Bijan even worth 3 firsts in a Superflex? 3 future firsts?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So I think if you take it, you're in a rebuild, you're eliminating all the risk.
Mhm.
So I would take
Mhm.
the picks. here.
Like if you know that you're several years out, just take the 24.
If you're in a horrible situation, I
You're
would take the pick.
insulate that value
Yeah.
while it's there.
Would you trade Calvin Ridley for the 202 in a rebuild?
no, keeping him.
Given the way that the rookie draft has fallen, I'd rather have Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I'd agree. Need Calvin Ridley.
It's fair. It's about right.
I just think we haven't seen Ridley's upside in the Jacksonville offense yet. And I think
it's
it's going to be
about
very
right.
big.
But I would take Ridley. How do you feel about Rice versus Downs versus Mims? I would go Rice,
Thumbs
Mims, Downs. For me.
Mims is. I'm surprised he's getting slept on or was getting slept on. Now he's just shooting up.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't love the landing spot, but the draft capital says he's good. But I'd rather have Rice. I'll take my chances on the guy who was drafted first and went to Kansas City over Mims, who's not in
Just
a
that
situation.
name. In Dynasty, that name just in general.
I know. ETN and 109 or 103 and 105. I'll take. I assume 103, 103 and 105 in one QB or anything.
Yeah.
I'll take JSN over ETN and 105 or 109 easily. So that's an easy question. What's Derrick Henry worth? I'm not paying. I mean, man. I mean, I'd rather have Derrick Henry, above all the guys except for the top 8 in Superflex. So I guess he's worth whatever that is, but I'd rather not pay it.
Yeah, if you're like one piece away, and I think I know who this is. This is a guy named Dave. He's in one of my leagues, I think.
Fade anagram of Dave. So that makes sense.
But
I would
think,
just say
it's not worth it. I think unless you're sure that you're gonna have like a shot to win this year.
if I'm giving up anyone other than those top 8 players for Derrick Henry, I'm fine with it. I don't feel like I'm not gonna cry giving up on A-Chain or Zay Flowers or someone like that. Right, Henry?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't agree with this, but I think it'll be close. I'm not gonna lie. I think it'll be close.
He's a beast, but he just
I'm
won't
not
be in the
saying-
same role.
I'm not saying don't draft Tajay Spears, but I would rather have guys like Rice and Mims and the wide receivers there that I trust, or even all the quarterbacks in a 1 QB. I'd rather take over Spears. I just don't see it. I see a lot of floor and not a lot of ceiling. So I'm kind of good on Tajay Spears. Unless he comes at a big discount, in which case I'll take him. But he's got to come at that discount for there to be upside. He needs to have the discount. That's the thing. I'm not saying don't draft him. I'm saying don't draft him high. And I think we can close on that note. We actually covered almost everything on my show sheet. And we did the mock draft. And I think it was good. So
Did it.
I will be back at some point later this week. I'm going to record the solo episode of Ask Tyler from that Twitter thread I did earlier. I'm going to pick out questions. I'll record an Ask Tyler show. It'll be up probably at some time on Thursday. So just look for that on the channel. And then next week, we will be back here at 7:30 p.m. Eastern doing we're going to do a startup mock. So hopefully that'll be fun. We'll be able to do a startup mock. People really love those. And we'll be able to draft the rookies in the draft next week. Anyone got anything else they want to plug, say, or anything like that?
I've got a Patreon coming out soon.
Yeah.
Like in about a week from now.
For that.
I've got a Patreon coming out in a week from now. It'll be fun. Tons of fun content on there. So keep an eye out for that. Wednesday, May 10th, it'll be dropping. So
nice.
I'll kick it off with I'm gonna kick it off. I have a Jeffrey Simmons autographed jersey. I'm gonna be giving it away to anyone who signs up for the Patreon within the first few days of me launching it. So if you get signed up, you're gonna get entered for that jersey. So
I love that.
Keep an eye out.
It's awesome. I'll just say happy drafting to everyone who's out there drafting right now.
I love drafting.
If you have any questions, my DMs are
I have
always
not had
open.
one rookie draft yet, and it's so sad.
DMs are
I've not
always
had
open.
one.
Hit
It's
me
so
up.
sad.
But yeah, for me, just like, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell.
Absolutely.
Also, Conan and I are going to be doing recorded content. We scheduled the first recording a week from Thursday. So that should come out later next week. So look for that. You got to hit the notifications
And Conan
bell.
is awesome, so it'll be great.
It's not going to come out on a schedule, though. So if you hit the notifications bell, you'll see all of those videos as they come out. And then, as always, this is my Patreon right here, patreon.com/fantasyadvice. You can sign up for that. It'll help you during rookie season, and I will walk you through your rookie drafts and things like that. But yeah, I'll see you here next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, like always. And yeah, peace out.